there have been some large protests and demonstrations in Los Angeles over ICE immigration raids. And we don't want to, leave that untouched, especially since we live here. For me personally, it's like right in the area of where I actually live. And we just wanted to cover that at least a little bit. It's still something that's unfolding. I think there's going to be more protests this weekend. And I think there's a larger topic of the way immigration is being approached in this country that we also want to spend some time talking about. I think that's going to be our conversation, a longer conversation on the Patreon today, and something we're going to talk about in the future. But since this is happening in our neighborhood, we just wanted to touch on like the details of like what's actually going on, because I feel like I see a pretty big discrepancy between what's happening in my area versus what is getting chatted about online. So if you somehow do not know, over the weekend there was a protest in downtown LA, specifically around this place called the Federal Building, in reaction to some ICE immigration raids that had happened, I think, just a couple nights before. And the ICE had come in with other federal officers, it sounded like, and arrested more than 40 people, and then had brought them from different areas of downtown LA, and then had brought them to holding in the Federal Building, because the Federal Building has like a jail or a prison. It's like it's crazy, because when you drive through downtown LA, there's kind of this one big building you'll go by sometimes, and you're like, why does that look like a prison? And then eventually I realized it just is. So in reaction to that, these protests break out. It's happening in this area that is near Little Tokyo, which is like our Japan town. And I guess the main thing that I wanted to talk about, and because I have gotten as many texts as I did when the fires were happening. Yeah. From friends, from family, asking me, most of which don't even know I actually live in the area. They just know I live in LA. And I think the rhetoric around this protest right now is that LA is being like burned to the ground. And I cannot express enough that it's just not what's happening. This protest and what has been happening is confined to basically a series of like 4 blocks around this building. And while there have been periods of time over the past few days where that area has gotten pretty crazy, if you didn't read the news and you didn't like live and walk through that area, you wouldn't know this is going on, to be totally honest with you. And I think my frustration has been seeing the way people talk about the protests online, particularly Trump, and the opportunity he's used to like become so inflammatory with it, not only sending like the Marines and National Guard in as a reaction to it, but continuously pushing this narrative that LA would have been burnt to the ground. He will not remove troops until it is safe there. And I drive through that area. It's fine.
Dude,
there's
2 blocks
graffiti
away, people are in a cafe. Like yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like the main thing I wanted to compare this to was the fires earlier this year, because the fires, shit actually was hitting the fan. Yeah. It was fucking crazy. There were downed power lines. The sky was red.